Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Well, I hope Jimmy is up and excited because an episode of My Friend Irma, Jimmy in Boston, is the head of the My Friend Irma fan club. He is. From 74 years ago, January 5th, 1948, Irma thinks she's destined for bigger things. She's tired of her job. She's depressed. Well, we'll talk about that. Thank you for tuning in on this Wednesday, Hump Day, 5th day of January, and we have 361 days remaining in this year. George Washington married Martha Dandridge Custis on this date in 1758. Richmond, Virginia, burned to the ground by British naval forces led by Benedict Arnold in 1781. In 1846, the House voted to stop sharing the Oregon Territory with the United Kingdom in 1846. In 1896, an Austrian newspaper reported Wilhelm Röntgen discovered a type of radiation later known as X-rays. Ford Motor Company announced an 8-hour workday on this date in 1914, a minimum wage of $5 for a day's labor. Free Committee for a German Workers' Peace founded on this date in 1919. It would become the Nazi Party. Golden Gate Bridge construction began in San Francisco Bay in 1933, and in 1940, FM radio demonstrated to the FCC for the very first time. Warner Brothers showed the first color newsreel, the Sherman of Roses Parade in the Rose Bowl on this date in 1948, and you know that was colorful. In 1949, President Truman outlined his series of social and economic reforms known as the Fair Deal.
This is the task before us. It is not an easy one. It has many complications, and there will be strong opposition from selfish interests. I hope for cooperation from farmers, from labor, and from business. Every segment of our population and every individual have a right to expect from our government a fair deal.
President Truman, with his revisions towards FDR's stuff on this date in 1949. Let's see. The soap opera All My Children premiered on this date in 1970. In 1972, President Nixon ordered the development of a space shuttle program.
This decision by the President is a most historic step in the history of the space program, in that it gives man, for the first time, the capability of routinely and at a moment's notice, when necessary, of getting to and from space with either men or equipment.
Now, the program ran for 20 years before being scrapped in 2011 after two major disasters. Besides the physical aspects of the space shuttles, the biggest issue was technology. You know, that they were having to go on eBay to try to find parts because many of the manufacturers had stopped making parts for the computers decades earlier. Passing away on this date in history, President Calvin Coolidge, George Washington Carver, the educator, actor Hans Conried, Arthur Kennedy, fine character actor, Tip O'Neill, Sonny Bono, and Pistol Pete Maravich.
Maravich, from 35 feet away, scores! He tied the record! He tied the record at 7:54 in the ball game.
Maravich suffered from heart failure, a pickup basketball game in a Pasadena gym. He was just 40 years of age. Born on this date in history, actor George Reeves, actress Jane Wyman, Sam Phillips, one of the producers of Elvis's first hits, politician Walter Mondale, and Wilbur Harrison, going to Kansas City. This is birthday number 91 for actor Robert Duvall. Actress Diane Keaton is 76. Actor Ted Lang, you remember him as Isaac on The Love Boat. He's 74 today. From the TV Nancy Drew Mysteries and Dynasty, Pamela Sue Martin, 69. Marilyn Manson, 53. From A Star Is Born, Bradley Cooper, 47. From Mad Men, January Jones is 44. The DJ Deadmau5 is 41. And from Laguna Beach, Kristen Cavallari is 35. Those just a few of the people who celebrate the 5th day of January as their birthday. If this is your birthday...
Hi, we're the 4 freshmen, and we just want to say, Happy birthday to you!
From 74 years ago, January 5th, 1948, Marie Wilson and My Friend Irma on this Wednesday, Classic Radio Theater on your favorite station. Before we get into My Friend Irma with Marie Wilson, a couple of words, and hoping that you will follow us on our Facebook page and our Twitter feeds. And you can find both of those by going to classicradio.stream. They're right there at the top of the page, and you can follow us there. Marie Wilson and My Friend Irma, they had quite the deal. The radio show ran from 1947 to 1954. The last years of the show were not particularly good, last year or two, because they just kept making her dumber and dumber and dumber, which was not good. But we have not talked much about Marie Wilson herself. Of course, she had the great radio show. She was afraid of the microphone, and yet she played so well the character of My Friend Irma. She did a number of films, including a film of My Friend Irma. She was in a number of motion pictures along the way, and she played Jane Sweet in A Girl in Every Port in 1952. She did a number of roles in short films. She appeared in the television series of My Friend Irma, 52 to 54. And her left leg, the model for a 35-foot 2-ton statue outside the Theme Hosiery plant in West Los Angeles. I wonder if Jimmy's found out about this. DuPont Company commissioned the plaster leg painted as if to be wearing nylons to promote their product. If anybody would have that, I know Jimmy would love to have that. From January 5th, 1948, Marie Wilson starring in an episode of My Friend Irma on Classic Radio Theater.
Lever Brothers Company, makers of Swan, the soap with the exclusive super creamed blend, presents
Our Friend Swan with My Friend Irma.
Starring Marie Wilson as Irma and Kathy Lewis as Jane.
Friendship, friendship, just a perfect friendship. When other friendships have been forgot, theirs will still be hot. My friend Irma.
Jane Stacy, I'm like everyone else, just recovering from the mad excitement of the holiday season. The excitement part is something we all go through, but the madness comes in only when you live with My Friend Irma. Now, please understand me, Irma Peterson is a wonderful girl. And without her, our little apartment on West 73rd Street would be, well, it wouldn't be the same. For instance, the other night I started to take down our Christmas tree, and Irma said,
"Oh, please don't take the Christmas tree down, Jane. I've been watering it all day. Maybe it'll grow."
See what I mean? Well, right now, Irma is sitting at the table doing her homework. Now, by homework, I mean that Irma is a stenographer, and every night she has to come home and try to decipher the dictation she took during the day. Now, there are two known systems of shorthand, Pittman and Gregg. To this has been added the unknown. That's the Irma Peterson system. Such markings have never been found on the inside of an Egyptian tomb. So I'm trying to help her. Irma.
Yes, Jane?
Now, honey, we figured out one page. Now, what's this you've written here? Dear Sir, as your attorney, I wish to advise you that you must pay X. Regret 12 missing bottles.
Oh, it's simple, Jane.
What's the X for?
Expenses.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's pretty close. What is regret 12 bottles missing?
Well, I don't know shorthand for we lost the case.
Oh. I think you better take it from here, honey.
All right, Jane. Gee, sometimes I get so fed up with being a stenographer.
Oh, honey, that's perfectly normal. Most people would like to change jobs. But you must remember the grass always looks greener in the other fellow's yard.
That's silly. I wouldn't give up stenography to become a gardener.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, Jane, what's the use? There's no escape.
Well, there's always marriage. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. If you marry Al, you'll just be working under a different name. You know something, honey? You take the wrong approach to work.
Oh, it's all the same. I've tried the 5th Avenue bus, the 6th Avenue bus.
No, honey, that's not what I mean. Now, listen, Irma, you see, you're just an average girl, just like millions of other girls in New York, and you're lucky you've got a good job. Now, don't have delusions of grandeur, honey.
But, Jane, are you satisfied with being a secretary?
Well, I happen to know that a working girl's only escape is marriage. So I'm content to work, sit, and wait, and wait, and wait.
Well, if you get tired of waiting, what do you do, Jane?
You pull your hair and then you wait, and wait, and wait.
Well, Jane, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to quit my job the first chance I get.
Now, listen, sweetie.
Come in.
It's only me, Professor Kropotkin. Hello, Janie and Irma, my two little electric currents. One a live wire, the other a short circuit.
Why, Professor?
Excuse me, a little joke I picked up in the electric store. Girls, I just came down to borrow some smelling salts.
Why? Who fainted?
Mrs. O'Reilly, I gave her the rent.
Oh, that's wonderful, Professor. Did you get a raise?
No, I got a better job. I quit the Gypsy Theater. I am now playing first fiddle at the Bijou Theater.
Oh, Professor, that's wonderful.
What's so wonderful about it? A broken-down theater, a bunch of hula-hula girls is running around wearing practically nothing, and I am sitting behind the bass drummer. I can't see anything. Only from the expression on the saxophone player's face do I know what's going on.
Oh, but in a real theater, it's so glamorous.
You call this glamour? Irma, in the old country, Kropotkin was considered an artist. I remember as a little boy, people from miles around would come through snow and slush and stand there shivering, waiting.
To hear you play?
No, my father sold firewood. But even then, I loved music, and I kept on. And what is the result? Today I'm at the Bijou.
Gee, Professor, I envy you having a glamorous job while I'm just a stenographer. You know, I'm thinking of changing my job.
Oh, Professor, Irma refuses to listen to me. Will you give her a little advice?
Gladly. Irma, my pigeon, listen to me. Be satisfied. All that glitters is not gold.
I know that, Professor.
How do you know?
I had the watch Al gave me appraised.
No, darling, listen. What I mean is there's a very old saying, look before you leap.
But what has that got to do with it?
Nothing. This is a saying for broad jumpers. Goodbye and good luck. I'm on my way to the Bijou.
You see, Jane, the professor's changing his job. Why can't I?
Well, now, honey, the professor happens to be a talented musician. What besides a secretary could you be?
Well, I could be a model. Al says I have nice legs.
Oh, I know you have, honey.
You know, I got them from my mother.
What?
Oh, they're not my mother's legs. They're mine. Mother has her own.
Yes, naturally. Honey, I think you better stay just where you are and count your blessings. Come in.
Oh, Jane. Hi, chicken.
Oh, hello, Al, honey. Oh, are those new shoes?
Yeah, made a restaurant buy them for me. They ruined my old ones.
Well, how, Al?
Stupid waiter stumbled and dropped soup on them.
You couldn't wear the old ones because soup fell on them?
Yeah, it shrank all the newspapers in my soul. How do I look, chicken?
Oh, awfully cute, Al.
Feel good, too. Right in the mood to swing the big deal I'm working on.
Oh, no. Not another deal. What is it this time, Al? Putting stilts on mushrooms and selling them for end tables?
Nothing so wild. This one can't miss. Putting Mexican jumping beans in pancake flour so they'll turn over by themselves.
Gee, Jane, isn't Al wonderful? I know he's going to come out on top.
Yeah, well, I better leave before I blow mine. Goodbye, all.
Super sensitive dame.
Gee, Al, I'm so glad you came over. I've been feeling so depressed.
Oh, what's depressing you, chicken?
Oh, work.
The word depresses me, too. Something wrong?
Oh, I'm so tired of my job. It's so monotonous.
Well, it's just temporary. After we're married, we'll go on our honeymoon. Then when we come back, you can look for something else.
No, Al, it's getting on my nerves. Typing for hours and then forgetting to put the paper in. Mailing empty envelopes and then having to mail a postcard saying letter will follow. Oh, Al, I'm a nervous wreck. Hello? Who is it? Oh, Professor Kropotkin. Well, anything wrong? Huh? Oh, that's too bad. Oh, I certainly will right away. Goodbye.
What's up, chicken?
Well, the professor broke his bow at rehearsal, and he wants me to pick up another bow in his room and bring it backstage at the theater.
Oh, anything for the professor, chicken. Shall we take a trolley? Wait, I'll toss a coin.
All right, Al, where's the coin?
Chicken, I think we'll have to walk.
Okay, Al, it's only 35 blocks.
Okay, chicken, here's the stage entrance.
Gee, Al, this is the first time I've ever been backstage. Gee, I'm so excited. What a life it must be. And I have to be stuck with an old stenography job.
Well, that's life, chicken. Forget it. Now go in and give the professor his bow. I'll wait out here.
Where do you think you're going, sister?
I'm looking for Professor Kropotkin. I want to give him his bow.
Shh, not so loud. The show's on.
It is?
Yeah, the great Cardoni, the magician, is doing his act.
Oh, do you mind if I watch?
No. Come over here and peek out of the wings.
Gee, he's not very talented.
Huh? What are you talking about?
He's thrown 15 knives at the girl and he hasn't hit her once.
Quiet, sister. They're coming off. I've got to bring up the house lights.
Now listen here, Pauline. How many times must I tell you not to scratch your back on my knives in the middle of the act? It don't look classy.
Now, look, Cardoni, I'm sick and tired of your griping, and I don't like the whole routine.
Well, what are you going to do about it?
I'll tell you what I'm going to do about it. I'm quitting.
You ain't quitting. You're fired. Get out of here.
Hey, Cardoni, what are you going to do for tomorrow night?
Who needs her? I'm the act.
Yeah, but who are you going to saw in half tomorrow night?
Ain't important who I saw in half. Anybody can do it just as long as she thinks fast.
Pardon me, but would you give this bow to Professor Kropotkin?
Oh, hello, girlie. Who you with?
Oh, I'm not with an act. I'm a stenographer, but I hate it.
Well, say, how would you like to be in show business?
Oh, I'd love it, but I don't sing or dance.
Oh, you don't have to sing or dance. I just want you to let me saw you in half.
Saw me in half? No, thank you.
What's wrong?
I'd like something more permanent.
Listen, girlie, I don't really saw you in half. It's a trick. You get $50 a week in expenses. Think of the glamour. Think of the lights. Ain't every dame that can be sawed in half by the great Cardoni.
Well, I don't know.
Look, why don't you come tomorrow night and see how you like it?
All right.
You think the kid'll be all right?
Oh, sure, Pop. I'll break her in. She'll be great. See you tomorrow at 7, sister.
Oh, I'm so excited. Here, will you give this bow to Professor Kropotkin? I want to tell my boyfriend I'm in show business. Oh, Al!
What's the matter, chicken?
Oh, a wonderful thing has happened.
Yeah, what is it?
Al, do you love me?
Well, of course I do.
Would you still love me if there were two of me?
What are you talking about?
I'm in show business. Tomorrow I'm going to be sawed in half.
What do you mean, chicken?
Well, I just got a job with the great Cardoni.
Is this on the level?
Yes, I get $50 a week in expenses.
That's a pretty high level.
Oh, do you approve, Al?
Approve? Why, certainly I approve. I never wanted you to keep that stenography job working for that lawyer, Clyde. From now on, chicken, you're on your own. You're going to work for me. I'm going to be your manager.
My manager?
Right, chicken. And believe me, this is only the start. First they saw you in half. Then if you show any ability, they throw knives at you. And then if you really got the stuff, they shoot you out of a cannon. And a star is born.
From 74 years ago, January 5th, 1948, 10 o'clock on CBS, Marie Wilson and My Friend Irma. On this Wednesday, Classic Radio Theater. Mike Lindell, the inventor and CEO of MyPillow, wants to give back to listeners. You can get great discounts on all MyPillow products if you go to MyPillow.com. Click on the radio listener special. Deep discounts on all MyPillow products like the buy one, get one free special on Giza Dream Sheets. All MyPillow products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee, 10-year warranty. Call 1-800-951-8175 or go to MyPillow.com. Click on the radio listener special. Use my promo code USA.
You know, if you feel like you're stuck with a health care plan you don't like, right now is a great time to switch to MediShare. They'll waive your new member fee if you join by January 15th. So that's $170 in addition to all the other savings. The typical family saves $500 or more per month. And MediShare has double the customer satisfaction rate when compared to health insurance. Double. Again, join by January 15th and save even more. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE.
And you're in tune with Classic Radio Theater on this Wednesday on your favorite station. We're listening to Marie Wilson and My Friend Irma as it was originally broadcast on Monday, January 5th, 1948. In the newspapers of that Monday, 74 years ago, these were some of the headlines. Chairman Eaton, the Republican of New Jersey of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, questioned the constitutionality of proposals by fellow Republicans for handling the Marshall European Recovery Plan, and he called President Truman's own provisions inadequate. The vital management feature of the program, he reasoned, probably will emerge as a compromise between the GOP administrative agency's idea and the president's methods, which include single administrator with broad powers. Thus, Eaton edged out of line with the House leadership on the Herter bill, whose general principles are supported by Speaker Martin of Massachusetts, House Republican leader Halleck of Indiana, and Senator Taft, the Republican of Ohio. Eaton said an independent administrative agency might invade the field of foreign affairs reserved for the president by the Constitution. This idea advanced in the plan, which was put forth by a special House committee headed by Congressman Herter, the Republican of Massachusetts, after a tour of Europe last fall. Battle lines were drawn yesterday between the president and the Republican-controlled Congress on three towering issues around which fortunes of the major political parties could flourish or fade in this presidential year. Streaming back into Washington for the reconvening of the 80th Congress, Republicans and Democrats began lining up immediately on tax cutting, maybe to the extent of $5.6 billion, foreign aid under the Marshall Plan, and the high cost of living, each party blaming the other for the size of the housewives' grocery bill. Congressman Knudsen of Minnesota, the House Republican tax manager, led the attack from the GOP phalanx yesterday with a declaration that instead of fitting tax deductions to foreign relief, or tax reduction rather to foreign relief, we should fit such relief into tax reduction, and this will probably be done. Dark-skinned Jews dressed as Arabs slipped into all-Arab Jaffa yesterday and blew up the crowded headquarters of the Arab High Committee and Arab Underground Army Najida with a truckload of dynamite hidden in orange crates. An official British report said 14 Arabs were killed, about 90 wounded, 20 seriously. The British said many of the victims were Arab refugees, including a heavy proportion of children who had been sheltered temporarily in the building for lack of safe homes elsewhere. Officials believe the casualty toll would mount. The air about the wreckage of the headquarters filled late last night with the groans, shouting, and curses of those wounded and trapped. The AFL and CIO began mobilizing this month to carry out the most ambitious political program in U.S. Union history, aimed at repeal of the Taft-Hartley Act and defeat of office holders they blame for high prices. The 30-man administrative committee of the AFL's newly created Labor's Education and Political League will meet in Washington to pick a director and an assistant director and to decide how to finance its most extensive political drive. In most previous elections, the AFL has refused to leap in as an organization on one side or the other, but this year, AFL President William Green indicates it may even get behind a presidential candidate. What stirred the AFL up was enactment of the Taft-Hartley Labor Relations Act last year. It spent $1.5 million in a frenzied last-minute publicity campaign, which apparently failed to dent the overwhelming vote in Congress. In Moorhead, Minnesota, Bill Werzog found a $21 can of soup when a customer ordered tomato soup at his restaurant. When Werzog opened the can, he saw a piece of crumbled paper in with the soup. As he was about to throw the can away, he detected printing, which said Payroll Savings Plan, National Bank and Trust Company of New Jersey. Inside the folded paper were 4 $5 bills and a $1 bill. And in Providence, Rhode Island, irked because he didn't get any stamps after dropping a nickel into a stamp machine at a bus terminal, a customer grabbed the machine and made off with it before the ticket agent, Harold Waterman, could stop him. And those some of the day's top news stories as reported in the newspapers of Monday, January 5th, 1948. On your radio, Marie Wilson and My Friend Irma. The conclusion next following these messages as Classic Radio Theater continues.
Our U.S. Constitution is amazing. It's full of what's called negative rights, designed to protect us from the corrupt powers of a dictatorship.
Like our right to worship our own God, not some official state religion.
Our right to prevent the government from seizing our property without paying fair market value for it.
Or our right to be tried by a jury of our peers, people like us, not by some star tribunal.
And that's why America has become the richest, most just society in the world.
Other countries force so-called positive rights onto their citizens. These enable one group to take from another group their free speech, money, and choice by using government force. Socialists love wielding this power over people.
Sometimes we take our freedoms for granted, but we can lose our Bill of Rights and our Constitution and become like Venezuela or North Korea, failed, brutal socialist regimes.
We need your help to spread the good news about our amazing U.S. Constitution. Help us take back America. Go to ouramericanrights.com.
Brought to you by the American Media Council.
On Thursday's Classic Radio Theater, Freeman Gosden and Charles Correll, starring in an episode of Amos and Andy from 70 years ago. January 6, 1952, the Kingfish makes his New Year's resolutions, among them a vow not to cheat Andy anymore, until he learns that Andy has a brooch. Yes, a brooch. That's worth $800. That's another one of those words. It looks like brooch, but it's actually brooch. Yeah, it's worth $800, and of course the Kingfish wants to get his piece of the action. That'll be on Thursday's Classic Radio Theater right here on your favorite station. But now the conclusion of My Friend Irma, starring Marie Wilson, 74 years ago, January 5th, 1948.
Well, I don't know what happened last night, but Irma is certainly acting strange this morning. She's standing in front of the mirror making faces. She's laughing. Now she's crying. Now she's singing. Give my regards to Broadway. Now she's trying to jump over one leg. She didn't make it. Irma, what in the world are you doing?
Oh, please, Jane, don't interfere with my career.
With your career?
Oh, wait till Al gets here. You'll find out. Now, please don't interrupt. To be or not to be? That is the answer.
Look, honey, I've asked you 100 times, what is this all about?
Well, I can't tell you, Jane. You'll find out when Al gets here.
What's Al got to do with it?
Come in.
Oh, Jane. Hiya, chicken. Jane, did you hear the news?
Just break it to me gently.
Jane, Chicken is going on the stage.
Oh, the two of you are crazy.
Don't be a skeptic, Jane. I tell you, this girl is a natural. There's no telling where the two of us can go.
I've got an idea. What is this all about, Irma?
Don't talk to me, Jane. Talk to my manager.
Your manager?
Yes, Al let me sign a contract with him last night.
A contract with Al?
Yes, Jane, it's perfectly legal. It's one of those regular contracts that show people have. I get 10% of everything I make.
Now, just a minute, kids. Let me get this straight. You mean that Irma is really going on the stage?
That's right.
Yeah, but what about her job?
She's quitting it.
Yes, Jane, you know how I hate that job.
Now, Irma Peterson, you'll do no such thing. Listen here, Al. Irma is not going to leave her job until she has one to take its place.
Well, she's got another job. I told you she's on the stage.
Doing what?
Oh, you'll see.
Well, Irma, what can you do? Can you sing?
No.
Can you dance?
No.
Talk?
No.
Al, I demand to know what she's going to do.
She's going to do bit parts.
Yes, in 2 bits.
Quiet.
Oh, Al, let me tell her.
No, as your manager, I refuse.
And as Irma's roommate, I insist on knowing.
Now, look here, Jane. Irma is making her debut tonight. If you want to see her, we'll tell you the time and place, but not until we're ready. Now, if you promise not to interrupt, Chicken and I have business to discuss.
Oh, by all means, Mr. Ziegfeld.
Now, first of all, Chicken, Irma Peterson is not a stage name. You got to have something catchy, glamorous.
I always like Bubbles.
No, something with more class. Now, let's see. There was Sarah Bernhardt. Maybe we could switch it around.
Yeah, make it Irma Heartburn. Very descriptive.
Never mind the cracks, Jane. Would like to get something continental, Parisian. You got a French dictionary, Chicken?
All I have is a bottle of perfume.
Yeah, well, let me see it.
Here, manager.
Eau de Cologne. Hey, that's kind of classy.
Yeah, sure, and then no one could say the act smells. Why don't you call yourself, hors d'oeuvres?
Hors d'oeuvres?
Yeah, and then they couldn't say you're from Hungary. Oh, I just can't be a part of this any longer. I'm going out to meet Richard.
Jane, are you coming to my debut?
Look, honey, I don't know what you and your so-called manager are up to, but if you want to make a spectacle of yourself, now don't ask me to have any part of it. Goodbye, kids.
Boy, what an envious day.
Al, I think we should have told her what I'm doing.
No, Chicken, she'd only laugh at you. She wouldn't see that this is just a stepping stone to bigger things.
Come in.
It's me again, Professor Kropotkin. Irma, darling, I hear you've got the job with the great Cardone. He's going to saw you in half.
Oh, Professor, I'm so excited. I know it's only the beginning, as Al says, but I think the main thing is just to getting started in show business.
Well, Irma, if you've got theatrical ambitions, all I can say is good luck to you, my darling. I hope you kill them at both ends.
On behalf of my protege, thanks, Professor. Maybe you can help us. We're trying to find a theatrical name for Irma.
Well, there are millions, but my favorite is Tamara.
Tamara? That don't sound bad.
Oh, it's got great exploitation possibilities, Al. Can't you just hear them saying, ladies and gentlemen, today we bring you Tamara.
Yes, but what will we do the next day?
No, Professor, ain't got enough sock.
Sock? I got it. Take an actor with a lot of punch, Pat O'Brien. Then we take a great dramatic actress, Margaret Sullivan. We got it, Margaret O'Brien. No, it didn't come out right.
Look, Chicken, we can find a name later. The main thing is for you to make a big hit tonight.
Well, I'll try, Al.
Just a second. Got to make sure we get applause. Only one man who can help us.
Who, Al?
Who else but... Hello, Joe. Al. Got a problem. Look, Joe, Irma's going into show business. Huh? No, not a sideshow, regular show. Want you to bring the boys to the Bijou Theater and applaud for her. Huh? You can't get out tonight? Or you got a letter from your most trusted son? Oh, yeah, I remember. They made him a trustee, yeah. What do you mean it's a rank and file letter? Oh, the food is ranked and he wants you to send him a file. I see, Joe. We'll try another angle. Goodbye. Joe can't be there to see you, Irma. He has to stay home and bake a cake.
Oh, Al, I'm so nervous.
Ah, don't be nervous, honey. Come on, we'll start for the theater. I'm hitching my wagon to you, Chicken.
No, Al, I'm too tired. Let's just take a trolley.
Well, Jane, I thought you'd never get here.
Oh, the traffic was terrible, Richard. Did you get the theater ticket?
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about. Now, we have a choice of three. There's Finian's Rainbow, A Streetcar Named Desire, and Brigadoon. Now, which would you prefer? Jane, well, Jane, what's the matter, honey?
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's just too silly to talk about, Richard.
I see. What about Irma?
You guessed it. She's appearing on the stage somewhere tonight. Al wouldn't tell me where.
On the stage? Does Irma have talent?
Talent? Richard, all I can tell you about Irma's talent is that I once heard her sing There's an Awful Lot of Coffee in Brazil, and it kept me awake for nights.
Well, then what's she doing on the stage?
I don't know, Richard, and that's what frightens me. And, you know, I kind of feel a sense of guilt. You know, I've always been near her when she needed me, and I got a feeling tonight it's going to be double in spades.
But, Jane, if you don't know where she's appearing, you can't do anything about it.
Well, I could call Professor Kropotkin. He'd know. But why should I? Do you think I'm fool enough to waste an evening in some broken-down theater? Do you think I'm going to sit by and watch Irma Peterson make a fool out of herself? Do you think I'd do a thing like that? Why, I'd be out of my mind. Well, here I am, out of my mind at the Bijou Theater. Oh, how can I describe this place? You know, they say that vaudeville is dead. That's true. This must be the graveyard. Richard and I feel kind of silly. But Richard, bless his heart, he thinks it's an opening night, and he insisted upon being chivalrous. He has a bouquet of flowers in his hand. In this respect, he's a little different from the rest of the audience. They're all carrying vegetables. I still don't know what Irma's going to do tonight. And the last act is now going on.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the great Cardoni.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. For my first trick, I will saw this beautiful blonde woman in half.
Oh, Mother, it's Irma.
Take it easy, Jane. You're biting my flowers.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. Many people think that in doing my famous sawing trick, I do not use a real live person. I give you my word that this young lady is not a dummy.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Now to saw this lady in half.
Well, if I ever become a grandmother, this is one story I must never tell my grandchildren. Because they think their old granny is hitting the bottle. So help me, it's happening right before my unbelieving eyes. Irma is stretched out in a big black box. Her head is sticking out of one end, her feet out of the other. Now the great Cardoni is sawing her. Irma is blowing kisses at the audience with her head. Now she's looking at her feet. She wants to see how the other half lives. Al, the good manager that he is standing proudly in the wings with 2 bathrobes for Irma. One regular length and the other short. Just in case the trick doesn't work. Probably doesn't want her to catch a cold. Cardoni saws on. Now Irma is giggling. Saw must be tickling her. Cardoni is glaring at her, and I have a strange feeling that if she doesn't stop giggling, Cardoni is going to forget his artistic integrity and really go to work on her. Now the trick is finished. Irma is in 2 parts. The great Cardoni is standing center stage with the saw poised over his head. He speaks.
Ladies and gentlemen, for all practical purposes, this woman is sawed in half. She cannot breathe, she cannot move, she cannot speak.
That's right, folks.
And if that isn't enough to ruin Cardoni's act, Irma has stepped out of the box to take a bow. Although I have never seen Cardoni's act before, I'm sure this is a new finish tonight. Because he has completely forgotten the audience and is chasing Irma around the stage with the saw. Come on, Richard. Come on, 1 Irma Peterson is enough. 2 would be a little tough to take.
Here, Jane, we can get backstage this way.
All right.
Just a second, lady.
Get out of my way. Get out, get out. We're friends of the star. Irma? Irma Peterson.
Oh, hello, Jane.
How How could you do this?
Don't yell at me, Jane. I'm so unhappy. I was fired.
Well, I didn't think that guy was chasing you with a saw to give you a raise.
Oh, I know what you're thinking, Jane, but I was so tired of my job, and this looked like such a good way to start, and Al thought
Now,
that...
listen to me, Irma Peterson. You are going home, and you are going to write in your book, I am going to remain a stenographer 500 times.
In shorthand?
Yes.
Oh, Jane, what's the good of that? You know I won't be able to read it back.
My Friend Irma, presented by Swan, another fine product of Lever Brothers Company, was produced and directed by Cy Howard. Tonight's script was written by Cy Howard and Park Levy. Ladies, listen. The shortage of fats and oils is still very serious, and it's worldwide. So please keep on saving every single drop of used kitchen fat. Your butcher will pay you for every pound. Frank Bingman speaking.
There you have it, January 5th, 1948, 74 years ago, Marie Wilson in My Friend Irma on Classic Radio Theater. And I got to thank Richard for his very nice, out of Urbana, Illinois, for his wonderful Christmas card. I always appreciate getting cards and letters from all of our listeners, and it was so nice not only for him to send the Christmas card, but also to adorn his Christmas card with Christmas seals. And you know those are still available, but I think you can only get them by mail only. You have to go, they have a special website set up. They're available through the American Lung Association at lung.org. That is lung.org. And you should be able to get Christmas seals there. They are a delight. Amazing story about that we have told before on this very program, by the way. Hope you will take a moment to visit my webpage, classicradio.stream. Now there, not only can you stream our classic radio shows on demand, you can learn more about classic radio collecting, and you can contact me there through classicradio.stream. We also have a link for all of our social media up there, including Facebook and Twitter, so you can stay in touch with all of our programming there as well. Just go to classicradio.stream. All of our direct links are there. And don't forget that our shows are available anywhere podcasts are served, so just search for me, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Please thank this radio station and support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be here on your favorite radio station. And tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater on your favorite radio station.